I'm very excited now to introduce our spotlight sponsor this month. It's a good friend of mine and a good friend of my family. Today's spotlight sponsor is Owensboro Saves, and representing them today is Keith Sanders. Keith Sanders has a BA from Kentucky Wesleyan College and an MB from Indiana University. He previously served as the Executive Vice President for United Way of Ohio Valley, Director of Development at Kentucky Wesleyan College, and is the Executive Director of the Lawrence and Augusta Hager Educational Foundation. He has served as the Director of that foundation for the past 25 plus years. It's a private family foundation whose mission is focused on helping the community improve opportunities for economically disadvantaged children and families. For the past 13 years, the foundation has served as the principal convener, facilitator, and fiscal agent for the Green River Asset Building Coalition. The coalition is an informal, collaborative of public and private nonprofit agencies, financial institutions, and volunteers whose mission is to help working low to moderate income families achieve financial self-sufficiency. The Asset Building Coalition's mission is focused on promoting increased awareness of the utilization of the Earned Income Tax Credit, providing free income tax preparation services for working LMI income families, and promoting practices and policies which further asset accumulation. And Keith is a member of the Pritchard Committee for Academic Excellence and recently was the Secretary-Treasurer of that board, and is currently the chair of Kentucky Youth Advocates, which is a local-based multidisciplinary children's advocacy agency. So very accomplished man and a great asset to our community, Keith Sanders.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's obvious I finally found a job I could keep. He left off a lot of the other jobs I had besides the United Way executive and that at Kentucky Wesleyan College, but I didn't want to confirm all of that. But anyway, I have been privileged to be associated with the foundation for the last 26 years or so. I want to say just a little bit about the foundation, what its orientation and its purposes. Many of you know the late Larry Hager Jr. He was the retired publisher of the Owensboro Messenger Inquirer. And Larry's family has really today a 100-year philanthropic legacy of concern for economically challenged children in our community. And Larry's passion was that all children, regardless of their circumstances in life, should have a fair opportunity to be all they can be, to have a chance to be healthy, be educated, and become a productive adult. And he devoted his life to doing that. Well, here a few years ago, it finally dawned on us at the Hager Educational Foundation. We've been talking about poor children all the time and what we're going to do about it. Finally dawned on some of us that, you know, these children have poor parents. And if you want to do something about the well-being of kids, you cannot be blind to the plight of their parents. So, you know, the research out there is compelling on that. Now, that's not to say for a second today that poor children don't succeed in our community. They do every day. And they do because of people like you in this room and others in our faith community and our public and private agencies who every day try to do something to enhance the opportunities for these kids. But the research is compelling. Far too many of them won't get there. So we've got to do more than just work with the children. We've got to be mindful of the need to help their parents be financially self-sufficient. So we here several years ago, I guess it was in May of 2004, convened a meeting down at Ordinary Community Services, which led to what is now known as the Green River Asset Building Coalition. You've already heard kind of what its purposes are, and it's done some remarkable things. I don't need to get into it. Tina will cover some of that in her presentation. But I want to say a little bit about our speaker and the person who's going to present the program. And the volunteers made this asset coalition work. And what they've done is remarkable. They come from every sector of our community, across the spectrum, politically, theologically, and socially, and everything else. But they've all come together because they have a shared common belief that we need to help working low to moderate income families that are trying to get there. Well, Tina Lynch has been the lead trainer for our volunteers for the last 12 years. She now serves as an AmeriCorps volunteer and our economic empowerment specialist at the Hager Foundation, and she supports and has been the driver behind creating this initiative she's going to describe today. Tina is so good at what she does and what she's done, much of it on her own time, that here 3 years ago the IRS invited her to Atlanta with 5 other people to spend a week down there critiquing the training materials and the testing materials used to certify volunteers throughout the country. She has been a remarkable leader, and she's the first to tell you that she didn't do any of this by herself. It took all of us working together. I was a little worried last night that she'd get here on time this morning. The coalition sponsors 17 free tax sites throughout the area, most of them here in Davis County. And we were a little short-handed down to Ohio County last night. So Tina, Angela Smith, who coordinates our site at OCTC on Frederick Street, and this fellow named Reuben Hayden, who's a trust officer at Independence Bank, those folks head down to Ohio County last night to do tax returns. I imagine they got in about 10 o'clock. So I was worried about her even getting here on time. I get here at 7 o'clock, she's already here waiting on me. She also gave me a note of what I could say and couldn't say. So
that wasn't in it.
I hope I stayed within the limits. But I want to thank all of you here today. We began planning. The planning for this began in October. Judge Al Mattingly, David Smith from Fiscal Court. I'm going to acknowledge some folks here that have been a part of this. And this is a work in progress. But I think you're going to be excited about where we are on it. First meeting was the Owensboro Chamber of Commerce. Key partners of this has been Audubon Area Community Service, our Junior Achievement Program, Owensboro Health. We've had strong participation from Independence Bank, Owensboro National Bank, and other financial institutions in the community, Catholic Charities, United Way, our public school systems, and our community technical college. I probably missed someone, but this work, the Wendell Foster Center, excuse me, we got that right. They've been great with this, and they're going to be major participants in it. So I'm going to introduce my friend Tina, who's going to kind of talk about what's transpired here in the last few months.
Thank you. So I don't like microphones, and I don't even know if the thing is working, because I couldn't even hear Keith. So, thanks, Keith. I'm very excited to present this information to everyone today. Let me explain. One of the very first things that Keith asked me to do when I came into this position last September was to take on this Owensboro Saves initiative. If you know Keith, if Keith is excited about something, it's contagious. He tells you everything there is to know about it. He created a complete copy of the America Saves book binder for me. It was full of resources. He introduced me to all kinds of financial facts, and it quickly became clear that we had a challenge. That challenge cannot be fixed or corrected with one nonprofit, one employer, one bank, one church, one volunteer, nor one politician. Not one alone can do that, but one city can fix this problem. And I know we can do it. The Green River Asset Coalition has already been introduced several times now, so I'm not really going to talk about it. But we prepared over 5,000 tax returns last year, with just over 70% of those taxpayers who received refunds receiving earned income credit. So we're doing really well with the first 2 bullets of our mission. It's really the third piece of our mission, building assets, which has not received much of our attention, with only about 8% of our taxpayers splitting their refunds and or purchasing tax time savings bonds. The need for savings liquidity is well documented. There we go. Liquid assets are those that are held in cash or can be liquidated quickly. Bank accounts and other interest-earning assets, and equity in stocks, mutual funds, and retirement accounts, such as IRAs or 401ks. Liquid assets exclude equity in a business, vehicles, homes, or other real estate. Liquid asset poverty is a measure of the liquid savings households hold to cover basic expenses for 3 months if they experience a sudden job loss, a medical emergency, or other financial crises, leading to a loss of stable income. Over half, 52.2% of the households in Kentucky do not have the basic safety net to weather an emergency or prepare for a future need. Owensboro is a little better off, but there are only 4 states with a higher liquid asset poverty rate than Kentucky. So we have to ask, what can we do about this? We know that having savings can help families better weather an economic setback. Furthermore, it can ensure that households will not lose those wealth-building tools, such as their home, business, transportation, even their jobs, when they're forced to face things like being too sick to go to work, unexpected car repairs, or debt collectors. The most common response when we ask, what are you saving for? Is, I can't afford to save. Doesn't matter what level of income they're at. To some, saving money may feel like a luxury, something that is out of reach, and if you don't feel that you can afford to save, you will find reasons not to. The message needs to be clear, concise, and consistent. Saving is for everyone. America Saves is a campaign managed by the nonprofit Consumer Federation of America. It motivates, encourages, and supports low to moderate income households to save money, reduce debt, and build wealth. The research-based campaign uses the principles of behavioral economics and social marketing to change behavior. Nonprofit, government, and corporate groups participate in America Saves nationally through a local, regional, and statewide campaigns around the country. America Saves encourages individuals to take the America Saves pledge and organizations to promote saving year-round and during America Saves Week, which is next week. Their goal is to convince all Americans that they can build wealth to assist them to do just that. There are over 60 local American Saves campaigns located nationwide. Owensboro Saves is the second only to Kentucky Saves in our state. Kentucky Saves is a great resource. Their statewide campaign involves more than 1,000 nonprofit, government, and corporate groups that encourage individuals and families to save money and build personal wealth, managed by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Services. Owensboro Save chose to utilize America Saves Week for our formal launch. America Saves Week is coordinated by America Saves and the America Saves Educational Council. Started in 2007, the week is the annual opportunity for organizations to promote good savings behavior and a chance for individuals to assess their own savings status. Typically, thousands of organizations participate in the week, reaching millions of people. The 2016 annual America Saves Week survey assessing national household savings revealed just 2 out of every 5 U.S. households reported good or excellent progress in meeting their goals. 52% are saving enough for a retirement with a desired standard of living, and only 43% have automatic savings outside of work. It did also reveal that more men report saving progress than women. I guess we have a habit of spending. Those with savings plans with specific goals, however, are making much more savings progress than those without. With more social encouragement and support, more Americans will be persuaded to set a goal, make a plan, and save automatically. We are asking our employers, our financial institutions, consumer organizations, and others to encourage and promote split deposit. Split deposit is simple, safe, and flexible. It's smart. Yet, despite its proven financial benefits, many of our workers are not taking advantage of this free tool. Split deposit gives workers the ability to automatically direct a fixed dollar or percentage of their pay into a savings or investment account. A recent survey found that 82% of U.S. workers are using direct deposit. crossing age, income, and other demographic categories. That's good news, because it's setting up automatic savings is just as easy, but only 24% are using split deposits, primarily because they do not know it's an option. We must talk about it, even expect it. Set the stage and share all the options with our workers. Explain they can split their paycheck into different accounts: checking, emergency funds, investment or savings accounts, and don't forget retirement, especially if there's employer matches or contributions. Workers who use split deposit save up to $90 more per month than those who use other methods to save. So I'm asking you to take the pledge today. You personally. On your table, you will find several of the handouts that list both the web address, where you can find the link to take the pledge, and the QR code, thanks to Amanda Payne, if you have a smartphone with a QR reader that will take you directly to the pledge page. So our web address is on these cards, and so is the QR code. It is located at owensborosaves.org. When you go there, you click on Take the Pledge, you set up your pledge. Okay. When you pledge to save and become part of Owensboro Saves community, you immediately receive a letter from me congratulating you. But it doesn't stop there. You just set a goal and made a plan to save towards it. America Saves will keep you motivated with periodic information, advice, tips, reminders sent to you by email or text to help you reach your saving goal. Essentially, they become your personal support system. Okay? These are not random. These are generated specifically for the type of goal you select. If I am selecting a goal to purchase a home, then I am not going to receive a text message talking about shopping safely to buy a car. It is going to be specific about interest rates and zero loan or PMI and things like that to avoid. So just knowing that these text messages are specific to the type of goal you personally select. Except for I can't turn my page. There we go. Then we get reports. Reports are driven from the pledge itself. How much and for what people are saving for. The success of the goals are self-reported by how well our savers follow up to those text messages and emails. So we do get information when you sign up to take the pledge or when our employees sign up to take the pledge, but we get generic information. 18 people said they wanted to buy a house in Owensboro. 17 people are saving for an emergency fund. And how much they set their goals at. The next step of it is when they respond to that text message. Did you make your savings deposit this month? That tells us how many people are successful. So it truly is self-reported. Yes, they can say yes and they didn't do it, but it is going to give us some good information. The point is, I just really want everybody to know it is anonymous, it is self-reporting, but it is not so much the number as did they hear the message enough to make a difference in their own life? And that's what we need to get out there. That message is first, the numbers will come next. Okay? The last page is just open discussion. If anybody has any questions, I'd like to answer them. I also did put the Save Automatically America Saves Week flyer. My business cards are on your tables. If you want this flyer to hand out to your employers next week, to your employees next week, I can send it to you electronically so you can put your employer name in there. So it's specific to your company, coming from you, a message from you to your employees that this is an opportunity to split your paycheck into either retirement or a savings account or however they want to do it, or to increase their savings amount. Maybe this is an opportunity to talk to them about doing that as well. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Do you have any data, it doesn't have to be local, but any data from this program that tells you what income level you're being most successful at?
Right now, the America Saves focus was under $52,000 a year annual income. That was their focus. However, they did not close the door because it has been proven that it didn't matter if their income was 300,000, they still were not saving enough money for their futures.
But my question is sort of, can you collect data on where in those income levels people are actually the most successful at saving? Is it at 40 to 50, 30 to 40, or so on? Does the success rate go down as you go down? As I would assume.
I don't think the percentage rate goes down. Actually, the percentage rate goes up. If I make less, I save a bigger percentage of my income than if I make more. Because if we all save $1,000, if I only make $10,000 and you make $100,000, my percentage is higher, and that's what they're showing as percentages. But I don't know the income.
I'm not sure about American Saves data, but there is data out there supporting the fact that sometimes the poorest of the poor save better and more than anyone else. Sometimes people criticize what we're trying to do here. I'm not talking about it here, but saying, well, these folks don't have enough money. Okay, that's right. But it doesn't mean that under the right circumstances, they cannot still save and do better. And so what we're trying to do is to create that kind of a culture, and it takes time. And the behavioral marketing principles are at work here. We say we're not influenced by what others do. It isn't so. We are all influenced by what our peers and our community do. So that message has got to get out there. But specifically, I can't be very specific about what those numbers look like. But there's research shows that I think people can save across all income strata, and it also shows that none of us are doing it well enough as we need to be. So.
Last night I did a tax return for a lady that made $14,000 last year. She has a 16-year-old son, and she bought a $100 savings bond. So she was willing to save at that level. So I know they will. We just need to get the message out there that it is okay and that there is an option. I really do not believe that our employees know that they can split their paycheck into 2 accounts. I don't think we talk about it enough. I think even at the banks, we have the opportunity to just auto transfer money. So, I mean, we can go to the bank and say, can you just automatically move $50 a month into my savings account? They'll do that for us. So we don't have to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind, we don't spend it. It's easier to save if we separate it from our spending.
You mentioned employers. What exactly are you expecting like an employer to do? What would you like to see that level of involvement? Earlier this week, I actually sent an email to our HR and included the link and stuff to say, hey, can we promote this and stuff? But what are the expectations that you'd like to see an employer do?
So personally, there's 2 times that we have the opportunity coming from being an employer. There were 2 times that I had an opportunity. When I first brought an employee on and I told them that we do direct deposit, I should have been saying a lot of our employees put some money in a savings account too. Some of them do percentages, some of them just do $10, but how much would you like to put into savings each paycheck? I should have done that. And second, our annual benefits meeting. We need to be talking about savings for retirement, for emergency funds, and me as an employer, I personally know that if my employees have an emergency fund and their tire blows on the way to work, they're going to be back at work tomorrow. But if they do not have an emergency fund, if I'm not able to give them an advance on a paycheck, they're not going to fix that tire, which means how are they going to get to work tomorrow? So start thinking about retention, employee retention, thinking about how we can help our employees because it helps us.
Many employees in our community working with employers that have HR departments, but an awful lot don't. So one of our challenges is to work with the chamber to get before small business owners and to extol the benefits of split deposit, the encouragement of that. I mean, if you work for a company as large enough to have an HR, they're doing a lot of this already. Some of them are better than others, obviously. But we know that thousands of people don't work for companies with HR departments. So how do we get that message out? Well, we're going to
invite me in. I will come and talk to your employees. You know, realistically, there are my RAs. There are ways to offer opportunities for your employees to save without investing in a retirement program. So even small businesses can help their employees save. Linda?
What are some of the tax incentives for employees to save? We know that many employees do not have employer-sponsored retirement.
Right.
fund.
So my IRAs are a tax incentive because they can put money into a retirement account and then adjust their income. But even employer-sponsored retirement accounts, the tax incentive comes from the pre-tax dollars being deposited. I don't have to pay tax on those dollars. The same with HSA, health savings accounts. Again, that is pre-tax dollars. I might not have enough, own a home, need to itemize my taxes, so I'm going to take the tax benefit on the initial dollars as opposed to on my tax return. So there are definitely tax benefit rates, not for like your emergency fund account or a retirement or a vacation account. But, I mean, on our retirement accounts, we can take that pre-tax dollar deduction.
Tina, is there still the Savers credit?
No,
Okay.
no, that's gone. Anything good goes away real quick.
Sorry.
That's okay. Any other questions? I need to wrap up. I know I'm over my time. Yes, ma'am.
Is there an effort to address income tax refunds as an opportunity?
Yes. And so the income tax savings bonds, or income time savings bonds, tax time savings bonds, if I can get the name out right, is the only way to purchase a paper savings bond today. The interest rate is just over 2%, and they can put it in anybody's name at tax time. But we talk split deposits, I mean, immediately when they have a refund coming at our tax sites. That's not all tax sites, that's our volunteer tax sites that are being driven by this initiative as well. So there is a lot of opportunity, no matter where you file your taxes, to talk about splitting that deposit.
Yeah, let me say that that is often the largest amount of money many of these families ever have at one time. The median annual adjusted gross income of the families we're serving, those 5,000 tax returns, is about $18,000, $19,000 a year. And they have an opportunity to split that refund, and we try to encourage that to the degree we can. Some volunteers are much smoother and more comfortable doing it than others. Tina just can do it in her sleep, you know, but some folks are a little bit hesitant. I mean, the pressure is on our volunteers to get the tax return correct. And this is a serious matter. I mean, that person's looking there and they're wanting the maximum return to refund they get, but we want them to get all they're entitled to get, but not anymore, because we're graded on our performance, our volunteers are. So, but there is a great opportunity there. We have 2 or 3 chances, but they need to hear the message as from a community standpoint that savings is the kind of thing to do. You remember years ago they had the Christmas Club savings accounts. They kept stolen those at Christmas if you need to start saving. We probably don't send a message out there often enough, and it can't all be done by the Greener Asset Building Coalition. We just need to permeate the environment with the advantages of doing this, and the thrift makes for a better community. So
We kind of went to credit. That's what happened. I mean, and so we get that tax return and we're paying off Christmas instead of saving the year before for Christmas. So we just need to flip that agenda so that everybody's thinking about saving and planning for vacation and planning for, there's just too many benefits to use that darn credit card, right? So we want to get them to thinking savings. I think I've wrapped up here. Thank you.